All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. My name is Katie. I'm one of the support team members here at Aplos, and today we're going to be going over the contact section in the software. This is a functionality that's universal to the software, so no matter what your subscription is, no matter what plan you have, you will have access to the contact section and to utilize that. So that's what we're going to be going over today. It'll be a shorter webinar since we're just looking at this one feature, but we do seem to have questions that come up from time to time, so we wanted to address those so that there's a little bit more clarity on how this functionality works within the software. So hopefully you are seeing my screen here. This is the contacts section that we're looking at. We're looking at a contact list in this demo account here. So just as at a quick glance, what you'll see once your contact section is set up, this is going to include contacts and their information for anyone that you have a transaction recorded for in the software. So whether they're a donor or a vendor or just someone that you want to store contact information for, everyone will be listed here in your contact list for you. So when you're getting set up here, you're going to set up anyone and everyone that you'll need to record any type of transaction for within the software. So as you can see, you'll have the donors listed. You can change the sort order of how your contacts are sorted. These columns here at the top have, you'll see the A to Z or Z to A options to change the sort order. So you can click on those to change it. Or if you wanted to sort by last name or company name or even email, you can do that as well. So you've got different options to sort your contacts. You can also search for a contact either using one of the column options here, or you can also just do a global search, which will search for whatever value you type in there in all of the fields. So if you wanted to search for an email address or a name, you can do that as well. So this is just an overview of what it'll look like once your list is set up. But let's take a look at the different options as far as getting your contacts set up. There's a few different ways that you can add new contacts to your contact list. So the first way you'll see up at the top right here is a button to add a new contact. So if you click on this button, you're going to be taken to a new contact screen, and you'll be able to enter the name of your contact, or if it's a company, you can enter their company name and check this company box to indicate that the type of contact is a company rather than an individual. So you'll enter the name. So let's say we do contact for myself. So I'll do that, and I don't have a company name. I can put a primary email address in here, and we'll click save. So once you click save, you'll see the name and email addresses listed here. It'll also fill that in the email section, but this bottom section below will be opened up for you, and this is where you can add any contact details that you have. So if you have a phone number, didn't need to do that. If you have a phone number, you'll click on this section and you can click the plus button to add a new number. You can enter the number, and you can mark it as a primary phone number and click save. Same thing with addresses. You can click on the address section and click the plus button to enter an address and mark it as primary. A note on the primary for the address. This is especially important for your donors, as well as vendors if you're using the check print option. But for your donors, the statements that you generate from this software, the primary address is what gets pulled into those statements because the statements are formatted to fit into a double windowed envelope. So your address and information will be printed on the statements as well as the donors, but they'll need to have a primary address set up and marked as primary. So you just check this box here in order for that to be to print out and generate on the statement. You can also, if there is a phone number that you've added in the past and you're adding a new phone number, you can either update the number, you can click on the section and update it, or you can delete it and enter a new one. So that's what that trash can icon is for, is to remove information within that section. So you have emails, phone numbers, addresses. You can also add some dates. There are some date options, so you can add a birthday, an anniversary, or other. Other's pretty vague, but you can, if you have a date that you want to save, or actually any other information that's not included here in kind of this primary contact information, you can use what are called custom fields. So let me take you up to the top of the navigation here to custom fields to touch on this. So a custom field can be created for any information that is not a primary contact information that's available that you're wanting to store for contacts. So if we click on the plus button here to add a new custom field, you'll see there's a few different options. So you can add a text field. So this is would be a custom field that would allow you to input text. So this might be something like, let's add maybe membership type. So if you have different types of memberships that donors or supporters have, you might want to store that information, so you can create a custom field for that. You can also create a custom field for a number, either a whole number or a decimal number if needed, and you can also create a custom field for a type of date. So by default, you'll have, again, the birthday, the anniversary, or other. But if you're wanting something more specific than other and it doesn't fall into birthday or anniversary, like you could do a membership date, you can select the date field type and click save. And now that we have those added, if we go back to the contact list and pull up the contact that we were working on here, you'll see when you're looking at any contact, whether you're creating a new one or editing an existing one, in the custom fields section, you'll see those custom fields that you've created available to enter. So the membership type, we might say this is new member, and the membership date, let's say, was today. So you can store that information, and that way it's listed under custom fields. So anything outside of an email, phone number, or address that you want to be able to store for a contact, you can do that with a custom field. Now, the other kind of organizational option for contacts, you'll see down at the bottom, is groups. And so the groups, largely this is helpful if you're using our donor relations product. As you're sending emails to donors and supporters, you can easily pull up a group of contacts that you've grouped together or organized together. So if we go to the groups page here, you can see there's some options. So there are some ones here that have a lock next to them, which means they're you're not able to remove them or edit them, and that would be for the 1099 vendor and for the do not email. The 1099 vendor, that would be people that you are including in this group, or would be contacts that you're needing to generate a 1099 miscellaneous for their taxes for the end of the year. So if you do have the 1099 tags that you're using as part of the accounting product, part of that process of getting that set up is marking your 1099 vendors. The do not email is also related to donor relations for if there's anyone that you've sent an email to that's requested to be unsubscribed or does not want to receive emails, you can manage that group as well. But you'll also see there's some other options that you can edit, like board member and member. You can also maybe add a group for like new donors 2016. So if you want to keep track of, donors that have just this year maybe given a donation to you, or any other type of categorization, maybe it's a newsletter group, people that want to receive updates from you, you could create a group for that as well. And as far as managing your groups, you can either from the groups page, click on the group that you're wanting to add to or edit, and you can mark the checkbox next to their name to include them in in that group and click save. So you can kind of do a mass add to the group, or you can also add individually. You can add contacts to a group individually from their contact page. So in the group section, you would click here and you'll see all of your groups listed and available, so you can mark multiple groups for the donor. So kind of the way to look at it, if you have donors that are going to need to be in multiple groups, it may be easier to put them in the groups from their individual contact page. If you have a single group that you're needing to add multiple members to, it might be easier to manage that from the groups page. So either way, you've got options as far as how to organize those. If we go back to the contact list before I move forward with some of the other functionalities here, I want to touch on the other options of how contacts are added to your contact list. So you can add them individually using the Add New Contact button, but you can also upload an Excel file of contacts and their information. So if you click on Import Contacts there at the top, you'll be taken to this upload screen. Now, you'll be able to, you can upload any Excel or CSV file, any sort of spreadsheet file that you'd like. There's not a specific format other than you'll just want to make sure that each value has its own column. So in this example, you can kind of follow this example as you're setting up your file, but there's a separate column for first name, last name, company, phone numbers, email addresses, and the address you'll need to split out between like the street information and then city, state, and zip code. So you'll just want to make sure you have separate columns for each of those values. But you can, if you're coming from another system, or if you have a list that you've been keeping track of your contacts and their information, you can upload that file. And what will happen when you upload, let me see if I have an example file here so I can show you. But basically what will happen here is you will be able to, might not have a contact file. But what will happen here is that you'll be able to map out your file to the correct information. So here we go. Here we go. Here's an example contact file. Okay, so if we upload this file, you'll notice that so when you click to upload, it doesn't automatically put the information into your contact list, so you have a chance to review it. But you'll see at the top of each column you have an option, and by default it's set to do not import. But for the columns that you do need to import, you'll match. So this is the company name column, so I'll want to choose company name, or first name. This is going to be the first name column. So you're just mapping out the columns in your spreadsheet to the fields, the correct contact field, so everything gets brought into the correct place. So again, this is just an example of how things are set up. It doesn't have to be in this exact order because you do have the option to map things out before you import them. If you made an adjustment to the file, you can upload a new file, and it'll take you back to the upload screen, so you can do that instead of uploading the first file you had selected. So that is a way, especially helpful in the initial setup. If you do have that information, you can certainly upload that and just map out those columns and bring all of your contacts in at once. What may happen, whether it's been manually input or perhaps you had manually input some of your contacts and then also done an import, is you might have a duplicate. So today I created a duplicate of my own contact. And what you can do is you can actually merge these contacts, because you may find down the road that you have duplicate contacts, and you might have transactions that are assigned to both contacts. So this is the same person. They're both Katie Kelly, the same Katie Kelly. And I may have recorded transactions to both of those. So rather than trying to reassign the transactions and figure out which contact I'm keeping, we can actually just merge them so that all the transactions that are recorded under both contacts are now listed under the one contact that we're keeping. So let's take a look at how to do that. We can click on either one of the duplicates, doesn't really matter, to open their detailed page. And you'll see up the top here is a button to merge contacts. So we'll click on that and you'll be taken to this screen here. And so on one side, you'll see the contact that you had pulled up here with all of the information listed. On the other side here, you have a search field. So this is where we're going to pull up the other Katie Kelly contact. And you'll see there's also information listed here as well. So all the information is going to be merged. Same with any transactions that are recorded under each of the contacts is going to be merged under the one contact we're keeping. If you want to switch which one is set as the preferred contact, you can click on either side to move that, and you'll see the green bar moves. So let's go ahead and keep the one that we created today, and we'll merge the information from the previous contact over to this one. So we'll select on the left here, but again, up to you which one you want to keep. And then you'll click the Merge Contacts button down below, and you'll have a confirmation screen just to make sure you are doing what you want to do. So you'll click Merge again to confirm that, and you'll have one contact. So you'll see this message up here that it's been updated and merged. So since the contact that we had created today didn't have an address, and the contact that we merged with did, that you can see that gets brought over. Same with the phone number was brought over, and any of that other information gets brought over and saved into one contact. So if we go back to our contact list, we can see there's just one Katie Kelly now that we've merged those two together. So the last thing I want to mention before talking about, before opening it up for questions, is the kind of third way that contacts are created in accounting and in the donations section. So just a quick overview. So when you're recording transactions in your register, when you go to record a transaction here, you assign a payee, you assign a contact. And if there's a contact that's already existing in your contact list, as you begin typing the name, you'll see that this list filters and you can select them. So that helps to prevent duplicate contacts being created. But if you have a new contact that you're recording a transaction for, you'll have this option here, since there's no other contacts that currently exist in your contact list, to add as new contact. And when you select that option, once you submit and post this transaction, let's just post a test transaction so you can see this. This is for just do that. So let's post a test transaction just from today. Oh, forgot to add the date. There we go. So Sam Kelly was not a contact that currently or that previously existed in our contact list, but if we go back to contacts, did I not post that? Oh, here we go. Sorry. He gets created here. So you can see right now Sam got created as a company because we recorded a payment. So looks like he's a vendor, but we can click on this contact and we can edit. So if Sam's actually an individual, we can move his name into the right fields here and unmark this company option and click save. And then we can also go back and add email or address information as we have it. So as you record transactions in the register, if the contact does not already exist, whether it's an individual or a company, a contact will be created, which you can then edit. And then also in the contribution screen in donations, Same kind of thing where you're typing the donor's name, and you'll have the option to either select an existing contact or add a new one. There's also, with the contributions management, there's also the added benefit of the contact quick edit, which right now is not available in accounting. I believe that's something that we're planning to add in the future, but right now it's just in the contribution screen. But you can select a contact. If it's an existing one, you can click this magnifying glass icon here, and you should see the name and any address information that currently exists. So this is helpful for existing donors. If they have updated information, you can update it right as in the same screen as you're recording their donations. If you have a new donor, so let's say this is, let's just say we have a new donor, we can actually bypass entering their name here and just click on the magnifying glass icon so that we can create a new contact for them. So maybe we add their name, we add their address, their email address, their phone number. Let's just say we have an email for him, and click save. And so all of that information, we'll post this as a normal contributions entry. And let's just put some information here so we can post it. So you can continue working on the batch. If you have other donors to enter, you can. And when you post this, just like when you post an accounting contribution with a new contact, if we go back to contacts, we'll see that the Joe Green contact we just created and entered a donation for is saved, and any information that was entered in that contact quick edit screen is going to be carried over as well. So there's that easy functionality to add contacts here from the contribution screen that will be saved for you. Again, you can go back in and edit any information that you need to, but they will be added to your contact list for you. I think that's all of the information I have for you as far as contacts, how they're added, how they're managed, or kind of organized. I will go ahead and open it up for questions. So please feel free to use that same question box to send over any questions that you have about contacts and functionality. Be happy to help. If you are listening to this as a recorded version and you have questions, feel free to contact our support team. You can reach us by email, support@aplos.com, or you can give us a call, 888-274-1316, and we'd be happy to help out.